of the tools that are used frequently in Apple Keynote are shapes. And shapes are basically these vector primitive components that you can combine together to create your own custom components and create screens or containers, whatever you want to do that's not included with our Keynotopia templates. If you look closely at our templates, they're all just a combination of these elementary shapes that we created and combined together, like an oval and a rounded rectangle, so that you can actually edit them inside your presentation without having to create your custom shapes or to use another tool. The way to add a shape to your document is basically to click on this shape menu and to add a rectangle or an oval and so on. Most of the time, probably 80% of the time, I'm using the rounded rectangle. You can play with these shapes. They have double-sided arrow, they have lines, they have a pen, and I'll show you how to draw with the pen next. But for this one, usually a rounded rectangle is more than enough because I can convert it. I can drag this corner radius and make it big enough that it's an oval, or small, too small or zero, that it's a rectangle. And each shape has a bunch of properties associated with it. But before getting into these properties, notice that there is a style panel here that helps you quickly switch the style of a specific shape with pre-configured properties like fill and border and shadow and so on. So let's say I like this orange style. I don't use shadows a lot because the trend now is to use flat design. So flat designs mostly don't have shadows. I'm gonna set the style to none. And then I like this no border, no shadow. If I add reflection, that's too much. And maybe a little bit of opacity, maybe 90% opacity. So if I'm going to be using this configuration of properties a lot in my presentation, a lot of in my prototype, I'm going to add this as a style here. And as I'm adding this, I can actually go here and apply it to another element. And now if I want to combine these two elements together, for example, to have a like creating an icon for a person or something, I can basically move them and group them together, and now they look like, you know, either a person's head and trunk or exclamation mark. So notice again that because this is a group, the contextual menu is only showing what applies to the group. If I ungroup them with Command-Shift-G, I can multiple select and edit things together, or I can multiple select and apply a style. And this is a good time for us to talk about the different styles of or the different properties that each shape can take. So here you have 5 main sections, one for the fill color. And for the fill, you can either use one of many pre-configured solid or image or gradient or image, or you can choose no fill. For the border, you can select the type of border and the color. So these are different strokes for the border, and this one is more, if we zoom into it, it's more sketchy, arty looking with a little bit of ink pushes here. So you can, if you want to make it look like a hand-drawn circle. Another one would be the chalk one, which gives you the same kind of brush stroke element to it. A word of caution: if you're using a lot of these custom borders, it actually slows down your document a lot because of the way Keynote is saving it. So I tend to stick with just the simple border if I need to, and I use a line. The line can actually go anywhere from several points to a fraction of a point, so you can make it like a hairline border, and it helps if you're combining shapes. So if I change the opacity here to 100%, this kind of border is going to help you identify one shape from another without having to have like a big solid border around it. I use borders sometimes to create cool effects, like separating shapes from each other or making a gap appear here. So if I add a border that's 6 points, and then I choose the same color that I'm choosing for the background here. If that's not the same color, so one thing we can do is instead of choosing from these custom colors, I'm gonna select the color picker, and I'm gonna grab this magnifier, and I'm gonna select this color, and now it's the exact color for the border as it is for this background. And now if I group these and rotate them, you can see better here that it almost looks like a gap here. And this is some of the shape hacks that I'm using a lot to create the interface.